Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. Jacalyn. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. Jacalyn at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world joining us. Welcome, or hopefully it's welcome back. I'm Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK, and our show today is the power of etiquette and manners. Joining me is my friend and colleague. I'm so excited to see him. Let's welcome the principal, the founder, the president of the British School of Excellence, Mr. Philip Sykes. Hello.
Hello, Dr. Jacalyn. Hello to the wonderful audience. Thank you for making time on this wonderful Friday. I hope everyone's well, and we are looking so forward to engaging.
Yes, I'm excited. We have a guest who's been here before, and she shared so much wonderful information. Before we begin, Philip, where are you in the world today?
Today, I am back in Italy for a short spell. Got a brief project here and back to the UK on Monday evening. And then we've got one very, very busy week next week, working with an individual for 2 days, then working with a school on Thursday, and then working with two wonderful children on Friday and Saturday. So things are really starting to gather some momentum and pick up, which is just wonderful.
Yay. Great to hear that information. And thank you for taking us wherever you go in the world. I really appreciate it.
It's honestly, I actually have withdrawal symptoms not being able to make the show, but I know that the wonderful guests we get on this show definitely fulfill such a wonderful position in what we're doing and what this show is all about.
Yes, thank you. You always have wonderful guests here, and a number of them have decided to join our team, which I love. So thank you for the introductions. And Philip, I'm going to spotlight you. We have two new radio channels in addition to our television channels and Business Talk Radio. So I'd love for you to introduce yourself and share with our audience the work that you do there at the British School of Excellence.
Thank you, Dr. Jacalyn. Hello, everybody, and hello to any of you new listeners out there. We here at the British School of Excellence, we build confidence and we change lives. How do we do that? It's through the power of etiquette, manners, and emotional intelligence. We have programs for teenagers, for youngsters, for adults, right across the board, whether you're in business, whether you're in family situations. If you want to improve as an individual and really put your best foot forward, we here at the British School of Etiquette have the tools, the programs, and the courses to take you on that journey. And don't take my word for it. Take a look at our YouTube channel and listen to what people share about how their lives have changed, how they've elevated themselves to a completely different level through the various courses and programs that we run here at the British School of Excellence.
Thank you, Phil. Well, I have you on Spotlight. If you can just share with our audience, I know originally you were the British School of Etiquette and now it's Excellence. Can you just share any information about that?
Certainly. For those of you out there, we originated back in 2014 as the British School of Etiquette. We became the first accredited organization in our sector and industry, academically accredited, that is by City and Guilds, ILM, the CPD, which is the Continued Professional Development Consortium. We're an Investors in People. We're part of the Institute of Leadership and Management, and we're a Center of Training Excellence. And what we were finding is that a lot of people think that etiquette and manners is for posh people, or it's a little bit, what is etiquette and manners? It's a bygone era, or it's something that, what do we need etiquette and manners for? And we found that we were explaining ourselves to a lot of people out there and giving them the tools and understanding of how powerful etiquette and manners are, and how anyone in the world, if you bolt on etiquette, manners, and you build your emotional intelligence, you can start to fly and soar like an eagle. And through this, we also wanted to get better traction, and our reach in our programs and courses led us to pivot the British School of Etiquette into the British School of Excellence. Etiquette is still very much a bedrock in the organization, but as a brand, we feel that the British School of Excellence really does sum us up beautifully, wonderfully, where we run EQ programs, we run etiquette and manners programs, we run styling and imagery, we run how to present yourself powerfully, how to negotiate beautifully, how to interview correctly, your body language, how to present yourself right across the board. So here at our organization, we really do have a phenomenal foundation to help you leverage off.
Thank you so much for sharing that exciting information. I love how you're growing, and the courses and the offerings that you have continue to really reflect what people need and demand. So that's really well done.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, Dr. Jacalyn, as I've mentioned many times before, you just need to see what the World Economic Forum is suggesting, the tools and the skill set that we would need going forward. Yes, we're in the fourth industrial revolution, but communication, emotional intelligence, growth mindset, the ability to accept change, communication skills, diversity intelligence, leadership skills, all of these are skill sets that are so needed right now. And if anyone understands the power of what I've just shared with them, and you really go out of your way to build in those particular areas, you will absolutely make huge inroads in not just in business, but in your personal life as well.
And now's the time to get started. So reach out to Philip, email him,
Absolutely.
WhatsApp him, go to their website, thebritishschoolofexcellence.com. Philip, we have a wonderful guest backstage. I just dawned on me, I think the last time she was here, she had to go through a snowstorm. I think there was like some amazing things going on, and she had to get herself to the office so she could be on our platform. So I'm excited to have her back, and hopefully the weather conditions are better. But can you please give an introduction?
Certainly. Amazing Janika, or Jan as she likes to be called. Jan has been on an incredible journey, originally from Australia, now living in the USA, out of Boston. And you're quite right, the snowstorm really, just so organized. She got to an office premises, made sure that the bandwidth was going to work, and she was going to, by hook or crook, join us on the last show. But Jan runs the amazing organization, which is The Better Professional, focusing on, personal branding, business etiquette, and phenomenal consulting services, where if any of you out there are looking to make a shift, make a change, I couldn't recommend Jan highly enough. She is incredibly polished, very professional. And I've had the privilege, as an organization, we've had the privilege of connecting, engaging, and working together. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Jan.
Welcome to the show. Hi.
Hello. I appreciate the invitation back. Thank you very much for thinking of me.
Absolutely. Well, you were such a great guest and gave us really important information, relevant information that we can incorporate into our lives right away. So do tell, did you have to go through a snowstorm to get to your office, wherever you are?
Not today, no, but I would have had the same backup plan just in case. Yeah, we're lucky it's spring now in Boston. It's absolutely beautiful outside.
Well, Jen, let's start with what we just were discussing about weather, about when things come up. And we made a commitment to do something. And it's really our reputation. And we always can have excuses. Well, this happened, that happened. I woke up today and my eye was swollen over to here. I'm not kidding. It's why my hair's here. And I was like, oh, what am I going to do? I'm going to use my makeup artist skills and show up. But can you talk a little bit about that? When we make a commitment to do something, is it mannerly? Is it rude to cancel? Are there exceptions? Do we get a pass every now and then? What are your thoughts on that?
Fantastic question. And this is something that comes down to core values, which if you work with me, I actually help you determine what they are. But when it comes to commitments, I have found that some people really commit and some people may not consider the other person's time as being as valuable as their own. So when you say, let's say you receive an invitation to perhaps do an interview, or you're attending a meeting with somebody, if you do not answer right away and you say, oh, I may or may not, then you're giving off this impression and a reputation of being slightly flaky or wishy-washy. Same thing if it comes to the day of and you did make the commitment and you said, yes, I will absolutely be there. But at the last minute, you decided something else came up and that looks a little bit better for me and what it is that I'm trying to do, that also comes off on your reputation as being flaky and not reliable. So how do you make sure that you can become someone who is trustworthy? Again, a core value. Someone who does deliver when they say they're going to, regardless of what's going on in their world. You could be juggling children at home. You could be juggling a snowstorm again, but to be able to figure out these moving pieces of the puzzle and say, yes, I am committing. I am going to be there and do that because I am true to my word. I want to be known as someone who is reliable and trustworthy. That's building a great reputation for yourself as someone who is of substance. I hope that answers your question, Dr. Jacalyn.
Yes, it does. That was very comprehensive. Thank you. Philip,
Great.
anything you'd like to add to that?
Phenomenal. It is. It's about showing up. It is every single day you've got to show up. And you're quite right, Dr. Jacalyn. I mean, Jan knows, oh, I got a sore throat today. I hope I can perform. Oh, I'm sorry I'm late. It's no excuse. You've got to pitch up. It's not even a question. With all due respect, yes, I know we do have curveballs thrown at us, and there will be those situations once, hopefully in a blue moon, that you might need to let someone down. But people generally get a reputation for letting other people down, and eventually you give up with them, and then they don't understand why they haven't got ahead in life. They don't understand why me, and they play the victim. And there's that wonderful expression in life: be 1 hour early rather than 1 minute late. For example, if Jan is heading up a group of people at a training and coaching session, and she says, right, we're starting at 10 a.m. sharp, and people are strolling in at 10 a.m., they're already late. You need to be there 10 to 10, set up, get ready. Jan can then say, right, I'm going to give you a few moments just to finish any calls. Please get your writing material ready, and I'm going to be kicking off at 10 a.m. sharp. So this is fundamental. When we are late for people, we're robbing them of time. And time and health are the two most important things we have in our life. So we need to respect that. We really do. And I know when we're traveling, aircrafts and various transport systems do let us down. But in general, we can start to plan way in advance and ahead. And we've got to make that commitment as best we can.
And I'd like to actually follow up on that, because I didn't answer what happens if there's an emergency. Yes, of course, those will come up. Medical emergencies, travel emergencies, things that are really out of your control, and people do understand that. So if you have an opportunity to say, may we postpone, or can we circle back to this and reschedule if possible, then do it. And so that there are some situations where people will understand and have empathy for you.
Thank you for clarifying that. One point I just want to make as a follow-up is, when someone's late, this is something that drives me crazy. I'm just saying it, I'm putting it out there. They show up to the meeting. It's, other people are already there. Everybody got the message, got the email, got the note, whatever it is. And then they interrupt the discussion or the speaker to announce that they're late. Hello, we already know. And why they're late. Well, I was playing. And I just am speechless that I don't understand how people cannot just come in if you're in the room or you're in Zoom, and just be quiet. Just take your place, be in your little square, whatever it is, but don't interrupt to tell us what we already know, and we don't care what the excuses are. Correct?
I agree with that 100%. There is such a thing as virtual call etiquette. So if you are perhaps not running on time and you enter the room late, what you could do, instead of announcing yourself verbally to the entire audience, and perhaps it could be 50 people in the room or 200, even if it's 5 people in the room, what is the best strategy here is to send a message to everyone that is somewhat apologetic. Please excuse my late attendance. I hope that I haven't missed anything too much, or something along those lines, just to show that you acknowledge that you were not on time, but very discreetly.
Thank you. I think also, and Philip, I'd
Absolutely.
love to have your comment on this. When we are late, because it does happen, there are things that are out of our control. When it does happen and we make it to the meeting, we are distracted by what already happened. And if we can pull ourselves together, take a couple deep breaths, maybe just a quick meditation before we enter the Zoom or enter the room, just get yourself centered so that you can actually be present. Because it's one thing to be late, and then it's another thing to be completely unfocused and not even interested or participating in the meeting. Philip?
Yeah, again, that definitely ties in beautifully with get your mindset right, get yourself into the zone. You're already frustrated that you're late. You most probably had a curveball thrown at you, and that's going to upset you. So again, meditation, use your 6, 7, 8, 9 second rule. Just calm down, enter the room with a bit of grace. As Jan said, you may have given people the heads up in advance that you are slightly behind, and just literally be very what we call situational awareness. Just literally slide in and find the nearest seat and just sit down and engage as if you nipped off to the loo and you've just come back. I honestly just go in subtly, go in with the right mental mindset, and yeah, just don't make a scene.
Great direction and advice. What about having our phone with us and out during meetings or even during a Zoom or some type of live event? Is that ever appropriate? Jen?
I can certainly take this one. Having your cell phone out is never appropriate. I think it's something that is considered so rude. If you have an opportunity where you can escape and use the restroom or go to a private area and say, please excuse me, I just need to check in with such and such, or have that space and time where you're not around other people, that's when you would take your phone out and use that opportunity to look at your messages. I personally recommend going to the powder room or the restroom, and that way you can touch up, if you're a lady, look at your appearance, touch yourself up, as well as check your messages. But if you are in a meeting, you are committing your time. Especially if you are a guest at a meeting, you want to make sure you're giving your full attention. And of course, that can be a little frustrating if you're not enjoying the presentation, or it's not capturing your just not really getting through to you. So you may feel a little bit antsy. But if you do, I will say, if you're expecting a call and you can make it known in advance and say, I am expecting a call from Europe, from such and such, I may have to step out of the room for a moment if this call comes in. And if you preface that before entering the meeting and tell the host that, that's a great idea. But placing your phone, I would absolutely suggest keeping it under your leg on vibrate mode, on your right side or your left side, somewhere where you know you could sense the call coming in, and then very discreetly walk out of the room.
Excellent. Yeah. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I've found
absolutely.
something.
And I think.
Oh, go ahead.
Go
Phil.
ahead, Dr. Jacalyn. No,
I was going to say, I found something interesting at this fitness class that I go to. There are only so many people can be in the class, and it's a certain kind of class. And I noticed a number of people are actually using their phone. And I'm thinking, why did you pay $35 to come for this class? And it's a class, like you have to do certain things at a certain time. And they're on the phone. They're on Instagram. I don't know. This, to me, seems like there's so many things that distract us that when we need to put our attention and have a right mindset, it's almost like a skill that we have to learn. And it's a tool that we need to have in our lives. So is this something that we can learn if we've actually forgotten how to be present?
I would like to speak to this, if that's okay. I always think about, what if you put yourself in the other person's shoes? And and say, well, oh, I'm going to look at my phone and there's something really going on here? Is it because they just are not interested in what it is that I have to say? And maybe I'm not communicating in the right medium for them. Perhaps that's what they need from me. And so there's a bit of this, I find, this disconnection, this miscommunication, and lack of self standards. So is it because this person never learned these standards? Is it right to get frustrated with this person because they never learned these standards? And how can I get through to them? So I think that I've started to place myself in other people's shoes and just think, you know what? I cannot get upset about this if they are choosing to stare at their phone and not be as interactive. But I can make sure that I do not act that way, because I do not want to feel this way. I don't want other people to feel this way either when I'm the one speaking to them or giving them my time.
Excellent. Thank you. Philip?
Yeah, that just Jan, beautifully put. That goes back to you're robbing people of precious time, and it's rude. It is really, really rude. And I think we as human beings, we need to disconnect. We really do. We've actually got to say at X amount of time, I'm turning my phone off, and the phone is there for my convenience, not the caller's. I promise you, and I will challenge anybody to this, unless you are a blogger or someone who is an influencer. But even then, there's time and place for all of this. You don't need to be connected to for 12, 14 hours a day. And it's actually mentally destructive. We need to learn to absolutely disconnect. Many years ago, my wife and I, we went with our little boy on a holiday, and I forgot my phone at home. And I realized that once I got into the taxi that it was left at home. I got most probably panicked for a few moments, maybe not the word panic. I was, up for a few moments. And I had the best 2 weeks. I could obviously dial in on my computer into my work emails, which I did once a day just to check on things. But when I got back, I had maybe 20 WhatsApp. None of them were important. I had text messages, none of them important. Phone calls, none of them were important. And it just shows us we think that we've got to be absolutely connected to these wretched devices all the time. There's good and bad about them. It's like fire. It keeps us beautifully warm, but it can also burn us. And I think if we as human beings don't start taking control of these devices, we really are going to find ourselves in trouble. It's look at it as like a pandemic. I know it sounds very dramatic, but it really is. Look at the youngsters, not even the youngsters, look at the people of today. And, don't even think mentally. Think about bad postures. Think about all of these side effects that are being caused because of this addiction to our technology. And just to round this off, if I'm on the phone or if I'm in a meeting with you two wonderful women, ladies, and I just, the phone's ringing and I'm on my phone. Oh, Jan, don't worry. No, I'm just with a friend. They don't mind. No, they're cool. How does that feel? You're just dissing someone. You don't answer your phone. Put your phone away when you're connecting with people. Put it on silent. Have no phone in your hand. Have it nowhere in sight. You want to connect with people properly, be with them and be very, very focused and very in the moment. Mindset, mindfulness.
Great point. Thank you. I have a term that I use. I call it phone zombie, because they were like zombies with the phone. And something else that you mentioned before, I forget which one of you mentioned it, but people may not say anything to you, people in the meeting, people observing, but they're taking note of it, and they're in making a connection between your behavior and the fact that maybe now they're not going to trust you as much, or maybe they're not going to invite you to something that they would have invited you to otherwise, because they know that you're not there, you're not present. And when it happens once in a while, that's one thing. Maybe there's an emergency going on, but when it happens on a regular basis, all these things together to me just show that there's a lack of respect, maybe even for the person themselves.
I agree with that 100%.
Absolutely. 100%.
Thank you. Jan, I'd love for you to share with our audience what are some things that we can do to be more polished and more professional in addition to some of the things we're sharing? You obviously look very polished and very professional, as does Philip always. And I think that that is something that's missing in a lot of ways in our world today. We're so casual, even the way we speak, we're so casual. There's something about being the way you look today, the way Philip, there's something that brings this another level of wanting to know more about you. And
Ah, I feel like you're just opening my not Pandora's box, but just something I love to talk about. And I would like to first start off with Philip is one of the best dressed gentlemen that I've ever met. But
Thank you.
when it comes to just a couple of takeaways. The first one I could say is setting self standards and giving yourself I would say, a mission statement. What is it that you yourself want to accomplish in life every day? And also a vision statement. What is it that you see for yourself going into the future? And then also figuring out the core values around that. Well, how do I get to that point? Am I going to be someone who's always kind? Am I always going to be really respectful? Will I make sure that I have integrity with everything I do, and sort of set these really basic foundational principles in how you will approach every single interaction every single day. And once you know that, everything else starts to fall in place. The next one that I could add on for a key takeaway is your appearance is something that everybody has access to, being able to make your appearance just that bit more elevated. And what does that mean? How does that look? It doesn't mean you have to go out and buy a brand new wardrobe. No, it means what you have right now, are you taking care of it properly? And when you put yourself together, are you steaming or ironing your items? Are you making sure that there's no creases and crinkles everywhere? If you are casual, that's okay. Not everybody's in work mode every single day. You'd like to make sure that if you're wearing your white sneakers, which are so in fashion right now, are they clean? Or do they have scuff marks, and are they really wearing out? How does every part of your outfit, is it clean? Is it not pilling, not wrinkled, everything? And if you can make sure you implement these standards throughout even just your appearance, you're already setting yourself up for making yourself have better standards every day with what you do. And I hope those are a couple of good takeaways.
yes, they are. Thank you. Philip, what would you like to add?
Yeah, just to compliment Jan, I mean, absolutely phenomenal takeaways. Everybody out there, your mindset, when you put on clothing that suits your physique, and you've made an effort to think about your outfit each day. It doesn't matter, as Jan said, whether you're going work mode, whether it's casual mode. If you plan in advance and you make that extra bit of effort of showing up by how you present yourself, I promise you one thing, it helps your mindset. Not only that, you will be amazed at the amount of people that you might just meet, your people you attract, just the compliment. Someone says, I love the way you, that beautiful red dress you're wearing today, Jan. And by the way, thanks for the wonderful compliment earlier on. But that in itself, could lead to a great conversation. You just never know. And many, many years ago, just to give everyone an understanding, this is a long time ago, I pivoted from my background in restaurants and hotels and hospitality. I had a restaurant many, many years ago, which is one of the top restaurants in Cape Town, South Africa. And I got into banking over in the UK, and I didn't have a suit. So I went off to the local charity shop. We have great charity shops in the UK. And I invested, I think it was $5, $6, $7, $8 in a beautiful old Marks and Spencer blue suit. It was a bit heavy around the tummy area, but it fitted me on beautifully on the cuffs, nicely fitted on the shoulders. The trousers need some hemming. I took it around the corner to an amazing woman who nipped and tucked it at the back with some pins. And I came back a few days later and I tried that blazer, and the trousers been hemmed, and I felt unbelievable. I felt unstoppable. I invested obviously in a couple of white shirts and a couple of ties and a pair of black shoes and a couple of pair of dark socks, black socks. Every time I wore that suit, people would say that is just, wow, what a beautiful suit. Was it made for you? Where did you get it from? I went on to invest in 2 or 3 further suits, which all in total cost me about $15, $16 many years ago. But by showing up every single day, you will absolutely make that phenomenal impression. It's about you at the end of the day. It'll elevate you first off. And when you feel confident and comfortable in how you're presenting yourself, you'll be amazed at how many doors start to open for you.
Excellent. Yes. And you know what I also wanted to mention, Jan said this, you are always well dressed. And when I think of you as well dressed. And I think that's a compliment. And I think if someone said that to me, you always look like a lady or you always act like a lady, that would mean everything, as opposed to, yeah, you look all right today. Yesterday you were kind of a mess. But it is the way that we show up. And that's something that we've talked about before on this show, is coming for an interview. I interview 20, 25, 30 people a week, depends on the week. And I'm always surprised, no judgment, but I'm surprised at the environment in which someone sets themselves up to be interviewed. Clothes, bathroom doors open. I'm just shocked. And many times I actually want to cancel the show because I think, why are you letting the world see you like this? But then I think it's not my place.
Yeah, and it's all about, do you know how you as an individual want to present yourself as a brand to the world? This is something that's really becoming much more of something to take note of as a leader, as someone who is excelling in their field, perhaps an executive in a corporate environment. The business of being you as an individual, it's a real thing. And you have to look at these teeny tiny details because they add up. And if you're not paying attention, if you're someone who's listening right now and you really want to get your name out there, whatever it is that you do, you want people to look to you to say, they are a voice of authority. They are someone who knows exactly what they're doing. Something like clothes in the background of, and it's a pile up, and perhaps, a bed in the background. It doesn't necessarily say that you are leading a voice in this industry that you're in. It's a distraction. And what do people think of when they see a pile of dirty clothes? They immediately, well, I know what I think, and that is, gosh, they're not very organized. They must have piles everywhere. Their house must not be all too tidy either. So these other thoughts start to come from something as simple as a background of how you present yourself on video. But even in person, the same thing. If you're not presenting yourself the way you want to be, other people, you want other people to see you, and the message that you give to them just visually, then it can really help or hinder your reputation in whatever profession it is that you are in.
Yes. And thank you for sharing that. It's when you do something that is on a platform like this, it's out there forever. So maybe you were having a bad day, but that bad day is out there forever. I want to give a personal story, which I think the audience will be able to relate to it. So many, many, many years ago, I was looking to hire an agency to help me meet men, sophisticated men. I didn't have a lot of time to go on dates, and I didn't feel like doing the typical route. So it was $1,600 US that would get me 2 or 3 dates. So I met with the person who owned this company, and she was asking me all these questions. Well, during the interview, she took off her shoe and started playing with her foot. So I could see she was doing this. And I thought, what? What? I am not going to give you $1 of my money. I don't care if you have the best person for me. I don't actually want to work with you because you've just shown me that you don't even have any etiquette when it comes to trying to get me to work with you and build a relationship. So I never forgot that. By the way, I never went to another agency to try to meet someone after that either.
I'm not surprised, because if you think about the type of person that she might be attracting to her business as clients, it's not going to complement perhaps your idea of someone who has the same standards as yourself and perhaps you would want to meet and be associated with. So that is shocking, and I'm sorry that you had that experience.
I've never forgotten it. It's like 20, 25 years ago. So the point is for our listeners and our viewers that you are always being observed, and you have to consciously think about how you want to show up, especially when you're in a public domain or interacting with other people.
Absolutely.
Completely. Just again, everything that Jan's sharing with the audience and with us, two things that spring to mind is, and it's just spot on what Jan was saying, is firstly, you are your brand. Number one, never forget that you are your brand. How you show up every single day, you are your brand. So that should be a note to yourself. The second thing that is fundamental is write down, I would like to be the person that I would like to meet, because that is what this is all about. And the third main sort of key to this is one person, one opportunity can change your life for the rest of your life. Why? Because you put your best foot forward. Why? Because you showed up. Why? Because you had a what can I do for you attitude with someone. You presented yourself beautifully. But not only that, you could also be the change in someone else's life. So these are key points that have been raised here right now.
And I can think of a topic for another show, which is when a business owner, an entrepreneur is growing and growing the brand, how do you get others to keep the brand image at the level in which you've created it? And that's a tough one as you start expanding and adding employees, or you have contractors, that they have the same integrity that you have when you are building your business. So I know we could go on and on about this, but any immediate thoughts that you can share with our audience? I'm going to go to Jan.
Very quickly, I immediately think that it comes directly from the top. If you're the CEO or you are the founder and you are the person that is walking the halls, or you are the face of the organization, how you show up every time, every day, whoever it is you interact with, if you are showing consistency in your own standards, if you are following the mission of the business itself and what it is that they believe and how they want their company culture to be defined. If it doesn't come from the top, if it doesn't come from the senior management, the executive level, then you start to see this trickle down effect. So that's why I find that my consulting services are quite relevant to senior management, executives, entrepreneurs, because sometimes what happens is you go through all of this amazing schooling. You go to university, college, and you work your way up to these levels. However, you get to this level and there's this piece of the puzzle that feels like it's missing. Why is it that this person perhaps has a better time with networking and creating relationships and building their executive presence and leadership skills versus the other person who may not know how to do that well? And it comes down to the personal brand and the business etiquette and how that unfolds and moves forward. So if what I do is I help people at those pivotal points to say, well, look at it from this perspective. You may not have gotten a course at your college or your university for this. And that's where I would step in. And I do help that sort of level of executive and management.
It's wonderful to know that you are out there and able to offer these services. we're just about to close out, but I would love for each of you to share a final thought, a final statement about etiquette and manners and things that people can do immediately. Jan, I'm going to go with you. And then if you can also give your contact information, that would be fabulous.
Final thought is I love the mindfulness aspect of being a professional and understanding how to be better with etiquette. I have a mantra and I would like to pass this on, and that is to breathe in and say, be cool, be calm, be collected, be controlled, and breathe out. And that, if you can remember to be cool, calm, collected, and controlled, you are already starting to implement the right mindset of being a true professional with better etiquette skills. And you can contact me at better-professional.com. All of my information's there. My second podcast just came out, so you can see it all there.
Congratulations on the second podcast. That's fabulous.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I will bid you adieu for now, and hopefully you'll come back and join us again. And you're welcome to join us on the business show as well. And we can talk about keeping the brand at a certain level across the organization.
It would be my pleasure.
Thank you so much. All right. Have a lovely weekend.
Jan, lovely to see you. Have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for such wonderful material.
Oh, I appreciate again the invitation. Thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Philip, over to you. What are your final thoughts for our show today?
Yeah, I think in summary, you do have a duty to yourself. And this is not about being, as some people use the term, poncy or, posh, or because of the way you are sort of made to feel. This is not about this. This is about, if you think about working for an organization, whether you're working with them in your business hours and when you leave to go home, you're still a representative of that organization. So how you act and how you behave should be consistent. This is a lifestyle choice. This is about being a good human being. And it is really making an effort. Everything in life is about making an effort. Everything in life is about showing up. And whatever we do in this world, make it count. Don't do things half-baked. There's always one of us or two of us or many of us out there looking for a shortcut. I can well assure you there are no shortcuts. And I can also assure you at the same line that no one's just had plain sailing in their life and it's just been a bed of roses. That is definitely not the situation or the case. It is about getting out there, making an effort, making it happen every day. And you are your brand. So show up as you want to connect with people, how you want people to perceive you. It's a duty you have to firstly to yourself. It's that utmost respect for yourself, and then it rubs off on other people. And just to complement what Jan was saying, that if you want to lead, if you want to build your brand, your personal brand, your organization's brand, you've got to do it from the front. And you've got to treat people with kindness, with respect, give people the time of day, mindfulness. I love that. Be calm, cool, collected. All of those sort of scenarios, those sort of tools you can bring into your life on a daily basis. But it's work every single day toward where you want to go. Set yourself these amazing goals and you will start to achieve them.
Thank you, Philip. And if you could please give your contact details for people who are not able to read the banner or they are on the radio.
Brilliant. Anybody out there want to email us and just find out more about what we're doing and connect on a call, or as I said, an email, it's hello@thebritishschoolofexcellence.com. The website is www.thebritishschoolofexcellence.com. And we really do love engaging. Please, Zoom calls, anything along those sort of, I spend quite a lot of my time when I'm not coaching and directing the organization, engaging with students who really want to find out more. And again, in that conversation, we can then bespoke and tweak programs and courses to suit your needs, your wants, your desires, and your pain points.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for summing everything up. And thank you to Jan for being here and giving so many wonderful and relevant details and information. I really enjoy doing this show because we are constantly bringing entertainment and education, motivation and inspiration. That's what we're all about here.
Absolutely. Wonderfully put. Wonderfully
Philip,
put.
I hope you enjoyed the rest of your time there in Italy and your weekend.
Thank you. Yeah,
Thank
Dr. Jacalyn, wonderful weekend, and catch up with you very soon. And bye-bye to all the wonderful listeners out there. Have a splendid weekend and look forward to hearing or speaking and catching up next week.
Fabulous. I'll see you again soon. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for watching, for listening. If you're wondering where can you listen to us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, it's possible. Yes. You can go over to mytunerradio.com and our shows are there. All of our shows go in a loop. And so some of our shows are going back to 2 years ago. So please go and have a listen. If you're watching on our YouTube channel, please go ahead and subscribe. Our YouTube channel is USA Global TV and our website is usaglobaltv.com. All right, I'm going to close out with a wonderful movie opportunity. If you're in the UK, the movie is coming out. I think it's tomorrow. It's Downton Abbey. Let's take a look. And I will be back for Adversity to Awesome in just over an hour. Thank you again.